I wish we
God,
could.
I don't know.
So summing up here, Dawn, just want to ask you a few more questions. What single technological advance has been most useful to you in your television career?
I would say the digital editing systems and the non-linear approach to editing. It just makes decision making so much easier and faster. Also, I'm just a big fan of high definition. It's given new life to so many things for me. And, high def affects how you shoot something as well because, we suffer a lot in our programs of like overcutting, over manipulation, and all that kind. And sometimes that can be wonderful when you're cutting to a music track or whatever. But when you shoot things in high def, you see them with such clarity that you don't need to cut as much. And sometimes you're better off letting things inside the picture accentuate the beat rather than making a bunch of camera cuts. And you can see it all. You see it all in high def, which you couldn't do with, standard def. So, but I also love the long arms, the cranes with the cameras on them. I love sky cams where you can float cameras over with wires. I mean, I love all that stuff. As a director, they're just so exciting to use,
Did you have a mentor? You talked about a lot of people throughout the interview, but
I had people who helped me out along the way. Bob Squire was a mentor at the beginning of my career. And he brought me to Washington to work with him on political projects and at the U.S. Information Agency. George Slaughter was a mentor who brought me to California after I lived in New York for like 8 to 9 years. Nick Vanoff was a mentor who encouraged me and helped me kind of get a foothold here in Los Angeles. So I've been blessed with mentors who've helped me along the way, and I hope I can pass that on and do the same thing for other people.
What do you think has been the secret to your success throughout your career?
I would say caring desperately about what I do and homework, and lots of homework. It gets to the point where it becomes dysfunctional almost at times. You care so much and you sit there saying, should I go here or go there for that shot? What's the best way to bring this thing out on stage? And a lot of people have said to me, including some therapists in my life, why do you create so much anxiety in yourself about what you do? Don't you know that you can do the same job and the same quality work without creating all that anxiety? And I do believe that intellectually. But when I get involved in a project, I don't care whether it's a variety show at my daughter's junior high school. At that moment, it becomes all-consuming, and I become completely preoccupied with it, and kind of irrational about it.
So when you mentioned homework, what don't people see you doing in a production?
I wish I could say that they don't see me yelling or losing my temper, because that's not the case. I don't think they ever see me being mean-spirited. I don't think I ever dress down anybody just for the sake of doing that. I feel funny talking about this because you really ought to talk to the people that I work with. I mean, I would like to think that I treat fellow workers on my crews, from fellow producers and talent down to the guys, the A2s and the guys who pull cables, with respect for what they do. But that would have to be borne out by somebody else to reconfirm that. I'm not sure I don't know how to say this, I'm not sure that I have a real accurate impression of how I come across to other people sometimes. It is hard for me to get like deeply socially involved with a lot of the people that I work with, because I feel like we need to just have a mutual, respectful kind of business relationship, and that we're both going to proceed better in our relationship in making and creating television shows and events than if we get too close to one another. And you asked me again, what might people not know? I don't know. I mean, people unfortunately know how much I worry about stuff. They know how much time I spend working on my script or my homework. They know how much time I spend editing. I think that they know pretty much everything there is to know about me, probably.
Okay. What advice would you give to an aspiring television producer?
Number one, care about what you're doing. Don't take the job lightly. Really exhaust your options in terms of different ways to like create something, different ways to tell a story, different ways to create an event or stage a musical number. Explore them. Make sure that you have perseverance. I think it's the most important quality you can have in making a go of it in this business. You will find that you'll have to be thick-skinned at times, because no matter what you do or how good you do it, there are going to be times in which you make mistakes. And when you do, it will be pointed out in the press, and you'll have to deal with it among your fellow professionals in the business, and just learn to accept those things, not look backward, and go on to the next project.
Would you say it's the same advice for an aspiring director?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, for aspiring directors, I would say work with people. Work with directors that you respect, who've got respect in the business, and try and learn from them. Learn the things they do right, and learn their bad habits as well. And try and work with more than one. Try and work with several of them, and you'll begin to absorb the things that work the best, and then you can kind of make those your own ultimately when you sit in a director's chair.
Having worked with so many performers and actors over the years, would you have any advice for an aspiring performer?
Watch the ego. Understand that there may be people around you who could actually help you do something better. That doesn't mean that you let people tell you what to do. But when you are doing a project and you have a crew out there, and it could be 30 or it could be 100, remember, they're there, all of them, to make you look good, sound good, and make you score. Treat them with respect. Do your homework. Show up on time. Don't play the diva game. Because if you don't care about them, they're going to care less about you.
Okay. You talked a lot today about passion for television and growing up with this passion for television. How do you feel about television today, and do you still have that passion for it and that love for it?
It's harder to have the passion for television today than I had before, and I don't think that's because I have changed so much as television has changed. There is today more mediocre television than there's ever been before, but there's also more good television than there's ever been before. And I think that our dramatic shows and comedic shows, from The Office to Grey's Anatomy to, all the good dramatic shows, I think they are really, and the comedic shows, they are getting better and better. I think that our events and musical events are are also quite solid. You're depending on the talent more than anything to like pull these things through. I wish that there were more concept events. I mean, I wish I could go to a network right now and say this February 14th is Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday. It's also Black History Month. Let's do something about Lincoln and Black history and put it on primetime television. There was a day when we could do that, but that won't be happening today. When we did the grand reopening of Carnegie Hall in like 1986 or 87, we had the New York Philharmonic with Zubin Mehta conducting it, doing the entire second movement of Mahler's Second Symphony. And we did it uninterrupted for like 40 minutes on prime time on a Wednesday night on CBS. That would never happen again. Now, I know I sound like the old guy who's saying back in the good old days we used to do this. But the truth is that back in the good old days, broadcasters had more of a sense of conscience about what they did. And it was not so much driven by the bottom line. And today it is entirely driven by the bottom line. But we're going through a phase. I think there's so many wonderful things about television right now. I think that when we have moments like a presidential election like we just did with Barack Obama, I think television once again unites us. I think television brought us together and helped us deal with what we dealt with that Tuesday morning on September 11th, 2001. I mean, and that is all there. And television is linking the world. I mean, and we jump around this planet instantly for reactions and this and that and all that stuff. And I keep hoping that in the end, that will facilitate, more communication between all of us and break down the barriers that unfortunately still exist among cultures and peoples, on the planet. And I think ultimately that's going to help. Television will be a positive factor.
What would you like to be remembered for?
Wow. Well, I'd just like to be remembered as someone who did approached his work with passion, that created moments that were memorable, and perhaps at times influenced people to kind of take a different tack or think a different way, about an event or about a national monument or about an artist or whatever. But what I do is basically create entertainment like a lot of other people. I mean, it's not brain surgery, as someone once said. I just want to be known as someone who loved doing his work, treated people well, and had a few opportunities in his life to do some things that were outstanding. Just a couple.
Well, thank you very much, Don, for sharing your life with us today.
You're most welcome. Absolutely. Good.